You ever been dropped in a headlock and then beat rapidly in the face? Yeah, it's kind of like that. We'll just kill the music. Howdy, Steve. Great to see you, sir. Does anybody remember what they were doing 29 years ago? I know, 29 years. You're sitting there thinking, 29 years, holy cow. How in the hell am I supposed to remember what I had for lunch 2 weeks ago, much less what was I doing 29 years ago? Well, anybody who, there we go, Welsh. How do you go? How's it going, sir? Anybody, and I do mean anybody at all that is a fan of baseball at all, even people who are not really fans of baseball, when they turned on ESPN 29 years ago, ESPN couldn't quite say enough about it. Actually, it would be 29 years and 1 day ago. Or 29 years minus a day. Yeah. Oh, Mark, I am sorry to hear that, brother. That would be yeah, that'd be enough to make me want to go crap. But you're still having a better day than Robin Ventura, who on this day 29 years ago, the rookie Robin Ventura yes, the pitcher threw the pitch at him. Maybe it was intentional, but the guy happened to be Nolan Ryan. Patrick Grant, howdy, sir. Great to see you. So as I was saying, Robin Ventura. And while the pitch did hit him, instead of saying, you know what, I'll take my walk, he takes a couple of steps towards first, throws down his batting helmet, throws down his bat, and charges the mound. Howdy, Smoking KY. How's it going, sir? Now, I've set the scene up. Y'all know what's about to happen. Anybody who saw Sports Center 29 years ago knows what happened. What happened was old man Nolan Ryan reaches over there, grabs him up in a headlock, and proceeds to give him his 8th no-hitter. Oh, because Robin Ventura never got a shot in at Nolan Ryan that day. Howdy, Sharon. Great to see you. So, I'm not exactly sure where Robin Ventura was from. I'm sure somebody will tell me if it's really all that interesting. But I live one town north of where Nolan Ryan grew up. And I'm going to say it like this. If you go charging the mound at a guy who can throw 95 to 100 mile an hour, you really kind of want to make sure that you leave that helmet on, because you're probably going to get whooped rapidly, destructively. And if you don't believe me, go ask Robin Ventura how it felt to get handled up on the mound by Nolan Ryan. Like I said, 29 years ago. To the day.
He's like a million.
Oh yeah, Nolan Ryan's old now. But he must have been at least 40 at the time. He was playing with Texas Rangers. Robin Ventura had Bo Jackson on his team. Heck, if it wasn't for Bo Jackson, Robin Ventura would probably still be receiving that beat down. Bench is cleared. Everybody jumps out on the field. Yeah. Oh, and in other sporting news, Brittany Griner of the WNBA, tall Goliath woman, gay, that's her statement, not mine, I don't care. And now convicted for drugs, and they're looking at 9.5 years. Yeah, okay, I mean, KY, if you want to look at it that way, yeah, 6 hits off Nolan Ryan in a single inning. Yeah.
But was he like 50 at the time?
But I like to remind you that that's also considered Nolan Ryan's 8th no-hitter. Because he was there for the whole game and the other guy never got a hit on him. Heck, as far as I could tell, Robin Ventura never actually took a swing. I think he came to his senses about the same time Nolan Ryan grabbed him up in a headlock and said, somewhere in there, I bet you he was smiling, going, man, this is going to make Sports Center. Damn it. That's right. Bill Russell has passed on. I actually have a friend named Bill Russell. I'm going to have to tease him next time I see him that I heard he had passed. He comes up and smokes cigars at my shop quite often. So, yeah. But trust me, if I owned any one piece of sports memorabilia that was signed specifically, there's very few people out there that I would just be like, yeah, and I'm gonna say it. There's very few people out there that I would actually want any of their memorabilia. And Patrick, no, I cannot name any of the other three. In fact, I can barely remember that Nolan Ryan was a player on the team of the Mets. So the Mets had two miracles. There was that one time that they won the World Series, the Miracle Mets, and then they had Nolan Ryan, who they signed right out of high school. Howdy, James. Great to see you, sir. A Mickey Mantle baseball. Nice. Okay, I mean, there would have been some of those. I mean, yes, I'd love to have a Babe Ruth signed baseball. Huva Ilta, Boris. Great to see you, sir. Tom Seaver, Doc Gooden, and David Cohn. And only other one that I have heard of other than Nolan Ryan was Tom Seaver. And let's see, if I was going to want something signed, if it was hockey, of course I would want the Wayne Gretzky. Yeah. I mean, because, yeah.
Gordie Howe.
I could do without, I mean,
He's Mr. Hockey.
if I'm going to go after something that was autographed, I'm going for the pinnacles.
Yeah, Gordie Howe was one of them. He's just before.
We'll compare Gretzky versus Gordie Howe.
Like a different hockey.
Well, I understand that, but I got someone's chiming in for Bobby Orr.
Iserman.
Who?
I'm a huge Iserman
Who?
fan.
Who?
How did you say it the first time?
Yazerman?
Yeah, Iserman.
Whatever.
Lemieux.
Well, Lemieux would have been right below Gretzky. Let's see. Basketball. In my lifetime, quite honestly, I would have wanted one from Charles Barkley because he was my favorite player. But oh my God, Everett changed his letter. It no longer says an E for Everett. Now it says T. How's it going, Everett? And Patrick, didn't we get to see Gordie Howe and some of his sons play for the Arrows? Like at the same time, didn't Gordie Howe play for the Arrows?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Somebody played for the Arrows.
He's a Canadian ice hockey player. He played from
Doing well, Pat. Doing well, Everett. Doing well.
46 to 80, 26 seasons. First 25 seasons were with the Detroit Red Wings.
Right, but
I'm looking.
okay, Bill Russell, yeah. Wilt, Kareem, Jordan. Could have skipped Kobe and James personally. Not the Stumbo, but the one that they call James now. Yeah. I thought for certain that
Yes, Howe played for the Arrows.
okay, so yes, I actually did get to see Gordie Howe play. And he was on the team with some of his sons at the time, if I remember correctly. Here in Houston, they're sitting there out there on the ice. Howe's an old man by this point.
Yeah, he came. Okay, so he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Okay, so he retired the first time in 1971 and was immediately inducted into the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame that same year. He was then inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame the next year, but came back 2 years later to join his sons Mark and Marty on the Houston Aeros.
Okay, it was Mark and Marty on the Houston Aeros. Okay. Mark Howe and Marty Howe and Gordie Howe all playing in Houston.
You'd have been pretty young to see that.
But it was the only...
It was the 80s.
Yeah.
Because he retired and then came back in 79 and 80 to play.
Let's see. Football. I would have wanted a John Madden. And no, not because of the video game, because he was the Raiders coach. Come on. Jerry Rice would have been a good one. Oh, but he played for the Raiders. Oh, man. That's right. There's some quarterback now that's super famous. I could do without him, though. I wouldn't want his autograph. No. Stumbo, you were right to leave him off of that list. That's right, Patrick. Madden did not fly. It's the way it was. And, let's see. The world of auto racing, Schumacher, Earnhardt, Senior, that is. And, well, John Force. Yeah, sure, why not? Well, right, James, but the thing there is I'm not going to collect guys who, for a definite certainty, cheated a little bit to get to some of what they got to. Okay, so Petty, Earnhardt, and Johnson. Yeah, I could go there. Yeah. If we wanted just the NASCAR top three, and if I had to have a number 4 up there, of course I would go with Kulwicki. That way I could have Hooters sponsorship. Oh yeah, yeah. But nobody expected him to die that early. Let's be honest. Nobody expected him to die at Daytona anyways. For the people that missed the race, it was like, what? Huh? Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Patrick. Let's see. In soccer, I'd be like, Pele. That'd be the only one I'd want. Now, look, there's going to be a lot of people that will say, oh, Ronaldo. And there's going to be a lot of people that would say Beckham. And I'm sure there's other players out there that people could name off. Maradona. Well, James, I would love to do Tuesdays, but I'm normally at work from 2 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Wednesdays as well. By the time I get off work, I want to go home, eat something, and go to bed. Sometimes it's very boring, and sometimes it's just not. But yeah. Yeah, I'm there with you. Breaking in a pipe, that'd be a good sport. I'm crazy enough, though, I would watch synchronized knitting if it came on ESPN. I mean, they put World Series of Poker on ESPN. That's not a sport. Poker is not a sport. If you're good at it, it's normally a skill, unless you're just lucky, and then it's a talent. But it's not a sport. They say skill will always win in the game of poker, but not always true. I've proven that. Right. Yeah. Well-known player. Very good at it. Howdy, Matthew. Great to see you, sir. I'm just happy to see James is not sporting a picture that is covered in water. Surrounded by water, because it shows him holding a fish. A lot of people worried about you there in Kentucky, James. We saw the water. And those of us here in the Houston area, we know what tons of water can do. You got to drive 45 minutes to a Lowe's to get an eye hook. How big an eye hook, James? Everett, you should do lives. They're loads of fun. All you got to do is get an app, plug it in, sit back and for bull riding, that's easy. Tough Hedelman, or I don't remember exactly how to say his name, but there ain't many people that rode Bodacious, and he's one of them. And he tried to do it twice, and that was a mistake. Well, all right, James. I won't go pick you up one and bring it to you. Lane Frost. Lane was good. I think he was kind of a side note to Tough, though. Oh, there's Patrick. Throw it in the cricket team. All right, well, James, all right. I can see your point there. Everett, there are a lot of people out here who would love, and I do mean love, to see you out here. So what I would suggest is finding yourself a spot about an hour before somebody else goes live. Click it on and make sure that whoever else is going live knows you're going to do it. And tell them, look, soon as I know that you've gone live, I'm going to dump everybody over to your show. And if you don't like it, you don't ever have to come back. And if you do like it, you can do exactly what I'm doing. Hang out, talk trash, talk about anything you want to. Matthew feels like smoking a cigar and doesn't have any. Matthew, I feel bad for you, brother. Well, you know, you could call it anything you want to. Off day with Everett. You can do it any way you want to. I'm not going to tell you anything that how to do it, what you need to do on it. But if you want to experiment with going live on YouTube, literally, you pick any time that you want to go live, sort of, more or less. You let a lot of people know. Get yourself a drink. You will want one. Start it up. And then hang out. See what it'll do. Matthew, I'm right there with you about not having to smoke a burley blend as long as I'm allowed to watch. Yes. Boris, I didn't know that. That's good information there, though. Y'all want to see something that looks horrid? Lemon juice, Tabasco, Stonebreaker, and water. Steve will tell you that stuff called Stonebreaker is nasty. He's right. And all I can tell you is that if you've got kidney stone, that stuff works. Or at least it does for me. Oh, that's right. Steph and Skip are going to be doing a GAW this Saturday. Something tells me I'll be not there. Probably because I'll be at work. Matthew, I wasn't going to tell anybody. I wasn't going to tell anybody at all that Martin's coming back tomorrow night. I wasn't even going to tell my wife that Martin was coming back tomorrow night.
Ugh, dad jokes.
Hopefully you could hear her when she said, ugh, dad jokes. I figure the less people that are there, the easier it will be for me to still be the #1 viewer on Martin's channel. Well, Everett, I'm telling you right away, yeah, I understand how you feel about your appreciation for everybody who gets in and joins in on a live feed. I can remember when James Stumbo went live, and I told him, you're going to be surprised at how fast an hour goes by. And I kept kind of glancing back up at the clock. And I remember telling him, hey, James, are you surprised that an hour's already gone by? And he looked up at the clock and he said, a whole hour's gone by. And y'all are still here. Holy. I thought I was going to get him to say cuss words almost, but he didn't. But that look of shock of how fast an hour feels when you're the one on the screen, it ticks off quick. And you think, oh yeah, sure, I could get all this said in an hour. And you can. but you have to stay on target. You have to keep going. I mean, the first couple of times I tried to do a live, I was scared. What would I say? What am I going to say? And then I decided, you know what? Nobody's going to take my birthday away. Screw it. If I don't talk enough for them, too bad. If I do talk too much for them, too bad. I'm just going to go live and throw it out there. So far, the only people I've pissed off are the ones that run YouTube. Good call, Patrick. All right. What's everybody smoking? What's everybody smoking it in? Patrick's saying he's got Amphora Original and an El-Tang Basic. Oh, Steve, come on. You never tormented me, brother. I like y'all's show. If I talk too much, it's easy to ignore me. All right. Perfect. I like the answer. Ah, eating dinner, so not smoking for Matthew. Solani ABF in an LCS. Way to go, Boris. New Minster Navy Flake in a mirror. All right, Steve. Haunted Bookshop in a Brigham System pipe. There you go, Everett. Uh-oh, some old Sun Bear. Noah James is probably also in an LCS. You've got a few, don't you, sir? You don't have to answer that. You don't have to give a number. I do like Simon's pipes, though. I'll get one sooner or later. I'll also get some of these other artisan pipes, too. I'll have to save my money, pinch my pennies.
I wasn't paying any attention to you, so I don't know what you're talking about.
The wife not paying attention has saved my soul. Or at least saved me some gunshots. You're not going to spend money on that. Just remember, in the situation of spending a little bit too much money, gentlemen, it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. If you don't believe me, go out and buy a Harley. Try it after you ask permission. The answer will be no. Bring it home, set her on the back, go for a ride, and then ask for forgiveness. Once you sign paperwork, it's too late to stop it now. Ah, it's in your Peterson's barrel pipe. Nice. I stayed off of the Sun Bear and the Black Locust and all the honey blends, mostly because the one time I ever tried a honey blend, I was just, this is not for me. Matthew, you might want to try looking at Turbo 10. That would be turbo10.com. But I wouldn't know where to buy it because I was actually not in any way, shape, or form looking to get any. But you got to remember, just because something doesn't hit my palate correctly doesn't mean it won't hit your palate. So if you like it, smoke it. That's all it means. Steve says he's still trying to grow hair back in that spot from the last time he asked forgiveness. You trying to say she snatched you bald and then it never grew back? I can understand. Oh no, I've tried Bijou. I tried it. Just for whatever reason, the honey blends never tasted right. Whereas if I do like creme brulee and it's got like a touch of honey in there, but there's some other flavors so that touch comes through just a little bit, then I'm okay with it. But if all I'm tasting is honey, at least from my experience, I end up just nah. Just the way I am. No big deal. I don't do a whole lot of candies and sweets, quite honestly. I mean, from time to time, and sometimes I'll get on a tear and I'll go right through a bag of cookies. But for the most part, I leave sweets alone just because it's not my way. Yeah, Everett, you're gonna taste more vanilla out of vanilla custard than you ever wanted, and in the Houston area, that stuff does not dry. Never gets dry. You could leave it outside and you could microwave it. You could put it in a dehydrator and it would still be too moist to smoke. And I don't know how in the hell it sells down here, but it sells like crazy down here too. Boris, you ain't lying. If the knife is sharp, it's safe. If it's dull, it's dangerous. Easy way to remember that. Sharp, safe, dull, dangerous. Oh, don't get me wrong. There's some vanilla blends out there that work quite well. But that Sutliff vanilla custard just will not ever dry. I don't know what they soaked it down with before they pack it and send it to Houston, but it's soggy out of the package and it never gets dry. And Crooner, isn't Crooner slightly vanilla because of deer tongue? Somebody told me once that deer tongue has a bit of a vanilla.
Denied.
Wow. No, no, no. Not in my house.
It hit the door jamb.
Somebody threw this
Like a girl.
like a girl. I didn't even have to reach out and block it. She could have just tossed it over here on my chair and I would have just easy layup. But no. She goes for the easy free throw and just bricks it off the rim. Yeah. Well, Welsh, if somebody shows up with 8 different accounts and they have them all lined up, so all they have to do is hit send, but it's 8 different accounts. Or if 37 people all hit send at the same time, but they're all sending it to the same spot. James, that's very nice of you, sir. I'm thinking about doing the same thing with bacon old fashioned. I really like that stuff. I know one of our more esteemed members had comments like, "This stuff sucks." But I like bacon old fashioned. I'm thinking about getting some just to pack away for people. Oh, very nice, Steve. Yeah, if you got somebody who knows how your palate works, then that's a good thing. Patrick, it could be a family and they all have a different P.O. box, for all anybody knows. I mean, if one package goes to somebody's house and one package goes to a friend's house and one package goes to a P.O. box, there's several ways to play the game. I know a guy who has a P.O. box, and he's had it forever, just so he could get Cuban cigars delivered. Well, you order them out of somewhere in Europe through a secondary, third party, whatever, that you've known for years, and you have them mail it.
It's illegal.
It's actually not illegal.
It is, because you have to clear it through customs, and there's an embargo on Cuba.
The only part of that embargo that is still in effect is that you're not allowed to sell Cuban cigars here in America.
Mm-hmm.
You can have them shipped from anywhere in the world. You can even fly to Cuba and bring back up to 100 sticks. And as soon as they lift the part of the embargo that says you can't sell them, I'm guaranteeing you my shop will have a stack of them.
You don't have a shop. You mean the one you work at now? Not your own personal.
Okay, yeah, well. One fluid thing down. It's a little warm out here.
Yes, it is.
Patrick, as far as that embargo being actually lifted, I can't say that it ever will. I don't see any point at this stage of the game for that particular embargo. I mean, look, when they were trying to stack missiles on Cuba, okay, it made sense. When Fidel Castro was still alive, and he would have weekly radio broadcasts to all of Cuba talking about the evils of the United States. Okay, I guess, sort of. But now that neither one of those things are still in effect, an embargo on Cuban cigars? Pretty much there's no other product coming out of Cuba that anybody in America gives a crap about other than the cigars.
It's too hot.
It's not like they're going to become some world superpower on being allowed to actually move some product to the United States. The sad thing is the Kennedys put a damn embargo in effect right after their plane landed coming back from Cuba with stacks of cigars. Probably should have showed up in Dallas, damn it, after you done killed the ability to take away a Cuban cigar. There, I said it. Probably not the reason he was assassinated. Definitely not the reason he was assassinated. James, I'm not saying that Fidel was exactly wrong in his opinion. I mean, he's allowed to have his opinion. And as you pointed out, the United States of America did try to kill him more than once, if I remember correctly. So, Matthew, some Cuban cigars are really worth it. But right now, I would tell you, it would be like not knowing what McClellan's is. And being able to say, you know, because I never knew, no big deal. And then somebody sends you some McClellans, and then you have to smoke a little bit of it, and you go, okay, yeah, that's, damn, that's good. Patrick, the original owners actually own the brand. Partagas still owns Partagas out of Cuba. Monte Cristo still owns Monte Cristo out of Cuba. Cohiba still owns Cohiba out of Cuba. The reason people are confused by that is because all these brands that were big in Cuba, upon being embargoed, through factories in the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua and various other places, had started making cigars. Well, America consumes about 65% of all the cigars in the world. So there's no way at all that these companies wanted to say, oh, we'll send our stuff to all these other countries, but we're not going to take part in all the money that is 65%. So, yeah. But yeah, those companies actually still own those Cuban factories. I work for a certain company, and yes, they still own the Monte Cristo, the H. Upmann, the Romeo and Julieta. And yes, all three of those brands can still be found in Cuba. Going strong. Don't believe me? Go get yourself a Monte Cristo number 2. Tasty. But I got a whole shop full of Monte Cristos right down the road. Hell, right now I'm smoking a Monte Cristo. Do I think that all Cubans are always going to be the best? No, not specifically. But if you find a Cuban cigar that matches into your palate, yeah, you're gonna be hard pressed to find those specific flavors anywhere else. But again, as James has pointed out, and as I've pointed out, I know James has pointed it out. I was there when I heard him say it. You can cross a road, tobacco on both sides of the road. Same type of plant, planted the same day, watered by the same clouds. But because the runoff runs one way or the other, and there might be something else, one little tiny detail is different, and the whole field of Tabasco, the whole field of tobacco tastes completely different. Patrick, sometimes that is true, that the Cuban cohibas suffer from overproduction. That tends to not be true with the Bejique. But yeah, some of their lower lines, yeah, I'll agree with that completely. But again, I've still got to roll back to that statement of, look, if you've never had one and you don't feel like the cost is good for you, you don't feel that the quality is up to what your standards are, okay. Because there are some extremely good cigars that are not Cuban. Don't have any Cuban leaf in them at all. Padron has no Cuban. Except for the fact that the original maker of Padron was Cuban at one point in time. Hey, he immigrated. On the Family Reserve box, if you ever see a Family Reserve box, there's a hammer. That's because that's the only tool he had left from his tools when he came to the United States. Right? La Flor Dominicana. No Cuban product there at all. And the Andalusian Bull, top-notch cigar. Davidoff. Davidoff Late Hour. No Cuban product in that. Oh, wow. Great cigar. Plasencia. I can't tell you enough good things about Plasencia. It's right there in my shop. Welsh, if you see an Andalusian bull, buy it. It's really that good. They age well. They smoke well. Now, Patrick's showing off that he loves some LFD. And James, really, that's the best way to look at these things. If a cigar tastes good to you, then you're not wrong. If you spent $100 on a cigar and it tastes like garbage to you, damn, I feel bad for you. If you buy a $5 cigar and it tastes awesome to you, hey, more power to you. If you buy a bundle of cigars and it's priced out to about $2 or less a piece, but you like the way they taste, you're killing it. Now, if you don't like the way they taste, but that's all you can afford, I mean, then I feel bad for you. James, that's actually very common. Howdy, Ron. Great to see you, sir. I think my biggest problem with Cuban cigars, for the most part, is how many forgeries are out there. They'll wrap up a cigar and try to sell it to you as a Cuban, even though it's not. Okay. I'll have to tell Holly about that, James. I'm a dead man. But she likes nuts. This one. I'm a little crazy. Just a little. Like, let's see. James Stumbo, he likes crazy sweet cigars. Drew Estates makes this one, a line from the Deadwood Cigar Company. That is Crazy Alice, Sweet Jane, Fat Bottom Betty, and Leather Rose. And for me, they're too sweet. They're just way too sweet. James likes them. Hell, I sent him a box of them. Well, James, just about every cigar smoker out there, given enough time, will come around to liking Padron. Okay, Mark, I'll say those 4 names again. You just let me know when you got that pen. I'll shell them right out. No problem. Okay. Crazy Alice, Sweet Jane, Fat Bottom Betty, and Leather Rose. I'll wait. If you need me to repeat them, I will again. Matthew, you've never tried a Padron? Wow. So my theory on Padron. Go get a 3x5 card. You know, it's a little bit larger than a tin of tobacco. 3x5. And every time you get a bad Padron, use 1-inch block numbers and write down the date. And you will run out of life before you run out of paper on a 3x5 card. You're not going to find bad Padrons. It's like ridiculous. Yes, that's correct. Leather Rose. And for any of y'all out there who have diabetes, you don't have to worry about your blood sugar when you smoke those. It will fool your brain into thinking you've had candy or cake or maple syrup or whatever it is that your brain starts telling you that you've been having. And your blood sugar is not going to go up because of it. Your blood pressure might go up because your heart starts pounding away because you're having something sweet and you're loving it. That's a different story. They are made by Drew Estates, but you might be looking for Deadwood. Deadwood. Really, y'all can't get a Punch Diablo in Canada? And that's ridiculous because they're not exactly an expensive cigar. James, I'm glad you like Englishes because the last thing I sent you was, well, packaged with some Englishes to keep it from shifting around. Fu Manchu, I didn't really much care for. It's an interesting looking cigar. Ooh, Steve, that's a rough lick there. When they trick you into getting sweet cigars that way. Whew. Well, Patrick, the Eye of the Shark is good. And it's only one leaf away from being a Don Carlos Reserve. Or maybe I should say that the Don Carlos Reserve is one leaf away from being a Eye of the Shark. So if you can't get an Eye of the Shark, get a Don Carlos Reserve. I suggest the Presidente on that. But if you can't get the Presidente, the Pyramid or the number 2. Everett, it is not like the United States government is going to try to find James for sending you a couple of cigars. Promise you. They do not care enough about a couple of cigars to ever think that anybody's going to get into trouble here in the United States for sending them. Selling them, maybe. Sending them, no. Matthew, JR Cigars and Cigars International, that'd be your 2 best shots. Well, Martin, yes, I'm still going strong. By the way, howdy, Martin. Good to see you're going to be live tomorrow. Oh, and try to be on time. You've had all summer to get ready. Come on. You can do it. Picking on Martin. Of course I'm picking on Martin. What happened? Oh, Martin, here's one for you. We started off today talking about a baseball beatdown. 29 years ago today, Nolan Ryan took matters into his own armpit, more or less. Tucked Robin Ventura's head in there and just went to wailing. Oh, yeah. And what's going on Friday? Well, the Over a Pipe Let Her Rip Friday show is going back on Friday, isn't it? Yeah, Bart, you better go ahead and walk off your alcohol, because you're going to be taking some shots. You might have to redial your shot clock to 20 minutes. Taking off for the whole summers. You have to keep that liver ready to go. I'm not sure that Martin has been exercising his alcohol system. I'm fairly certain that there is way too much blood in his alcohol system. Oh, Boris. Martin can't handle a 10-minute shot clock. Katrine can, but Martin can't. Well, Martin, you'll be all right as long as it's a live show. It's those premieres that YouTube likes to screw with for whatever reason. Woo! Lemon juice and Tabasco. It's all you can taste. Woo! There's also some Stonebreaker and water in there, but all you can taste is lemon juice and Tabasco. Not tobacco, Tabasco. Anything to mask the flavor of Stonebreaker. Ugh. Oh yeah. Patrick, yeah. It wouldn't even be an hour in and Martin would be falling out of his chair. Everett, that's the Punch Diablo, not the El Diablo. Wait, Martin, you didn't see my comment? I commented. I saw the whole thing. Oh, I definitely saw the thing. Steve, I think I saw something about Martin's version of alcohol in a 5-gallon bucket too, but I'm not sure he bought it in a 5-gallon bucket. I think the theory is that he puts it in a 5-gallon bucket and he uses basically one of the James Stumbo ashtrays, you know, kind of like this one here, fills that up, and dumps that in the 5-gallon bucket and then fills the rest of the bucket up with water. I believe that's the theory I heard. Oh, I got the reference. That was Big Willie style. Keep my pipe out your mouth. Matthew, you take care. Be well. Hopefully we'll see you later. If not, hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. No, the bird should basically come across and do a flip. I'm betting Martin got the reference. See, birds do the flip. Goose did the flip. You know, Anthony Edwards. In case y'all don't remember who Goose was. So yeah, birds do the flip. Actors would apologize. Okay, largest stick I've smoked. Lunatic. 8 inches long, 80 ring gauge. Personally, I'm not a fan. But I know plenty of people that smoke them on a fairly regular basis. Some of them are women. Hey, I'm not going to tell you. You want to see some crazy huge stick? There you go. The Lunatic. Vitola is John Holmes. It's not quite that big. That would be the Femur by Romacraft. Oh. Yeah, James, there is something about that. a Quintero Brevis. I don't believe I've ever had one of those. Oh yeah, Patrick, some of those cigars do have an extensive burn time. I guess the longest burning time of a cigar that I ever smoked was that Lunatic. It took me 4 hours to get through it. But you know, I just lined up 3 or 4 bourbons and sat out in the backyard. Knew I was having a bad day and figured this kind of a cigar will make it better. It didn't. The bourbon didn't actually help either. Well, it helped get through the cigar, but I'd have been much better off with a number 4 from Padron. Yeah, Patrick, I wasn't feeling exactly chipper after I finished smoking it. It was a bit more cigar than I actually ever think I needed. Oh, see, I could select 3 cigars. If I went and selected 3 specific cigars, I mean, I could do what? A Fuente short story, a Monte Cristo, or is that a Romeo y Julieta love story, and another Fuente short story, and I could knock those out by, like, right now during this live. All 3 of them. Or I could smoke just one of these. La Bijou is damn good. I would say it's probably the best cigar my father makes. Actually, Nub is not by CAO. Nub is by Oliva. But yes, it is deceptive, because it's only about that long, and it'll still take an hour and 15 minutes to burn. Well, Everett, if the draw is really tight, get your pin, and with just a twisting motion, thread it in there, and then pull it straight back out with a little twisting motion, and that'll open the draw up on that cigar pretty well. Now, I've had a 9-inch long, maybe 9.5-inch long Padron. It's called the Magnum. But it's not like an unusually crazy ring gauge. So 3 hours that it takes to smoke is great. Martin, I try not to sit down if I've been corrected. Normally the backside's a little warm still, and okay, it's been a long time since I've been corrected. Just say. Oh no, the big cigar James was talking about is a Fuente Masterpiece, which is also about the same exact length as the Padron I was talking about. But the Masterpiece is basically an extendedly long Perfecto. There's a reason they're expensive, because it is a Perfecto. Perfectos and Solomons do tend to be the most expensive, because you can only get those rolled by a master roller. You can't just, oh, I'm gonna roll it this way. No. Patrick, yeah, I'm okay with a 60 ring gauge, also sometimes referred to as a Gordo. My only real problem stick is if it's bigger than 60 ring gauge, I'm not going to go for that. And if it's a Lancero. But for me, a Lancero is nothing but a problematic smoke. But I smoke with a wet palate. I don't see any reason to judge a cigar that I know is going to be nothing but horrible for me. It just wouldn't be right. A Gordo and a Gordito is not actually the same. Gordo is normally 6 inches long by 60 ring gauge. A Gordito is a 60 ring gauge and often shorter than 6 inches long. Well, Martin, that's what she said to you. Well, James, if it's just a crazy size stick for you, you just have to set aside the time to smoke it. You figure 8 inches is probably going to last 2 to 2.5 hours. Don't worry too much about the ring gauge. But you might want to have yourself something to drink. Correct, it's a Fuente Gran Reserva, and the title on it would say Masterpiece. I believe it's actually a 9-inch, but you might be right. It might only be an 8-inch. On an exceptionally boring day at work, I've smoked there's a stick by Room 101 that is 9 inches long. A Padron a Padron Magnum, which is 9 inches long, and a Fuente Masterpiece, which is 9 inches long. And while I was there all day, we barely did $500 in sales, so it was dead all day. When you only have to get up to help somebody 2 times during the day, you just sitting there bored, nothing to do. Normally I read book right on my phone instead of having to close a book, open a book, this, that, the other. I just throw the phone in my pocket and do what I need to do. But as I've told people 11 or 1,200 times, I can't sell anything to people who aren't here. Well, Patrick, I started with the Room 101 because the one that I've got at the shop is Connecticut. And then I smoked the Padron, which the one we've got is a Maduro. And then I smoked the Masterpiece by Fuente. And quite literally, what I was trying to do was time them. How long does each one take to smoke in general? Oh, Steve, it wasn't recently. God, this was... Well, it was Father's Day. Nobody came in on Father's Day. Now, the Saturday before Father's Day, we were busy all the way through. No problem at all. But Father's Day, we had like 10 customers the whole day. Bunch of old men that were like, yeah, my crappy family couldn't even get me a cigar. Hey, you're in a good place then. But I knew it was going to be dead. There's certain holidays that you just know it's going to be dead. And you don't even think about it. You just, when you walk in, you're thinking about the sticks that you're going to smoke that day, and you just say, oh, hell, it's Father's Day? Yeah, I might as well just smoke some outrageously long, however long it takes will be fine, because you just know nobody's going to be there. Labor Day is going to be like that too. And the people that come in, they won't be asking for your help. Though I will say, yesterday at work, little Asian couple came in. Hey, we don't know anything about cigars. Can you help me find these cigars? Oh, sure, if I've got them, I'll take you right to them. They showed me a picture on the phone of the cigar band, a Bahique. Okay, so this is what you do. If you have to have it immediately, you go up to the airport, you book a flight to Cuba, you go buy one, and you bring it home. That's all you're going to be able to do if you have to do it fast. If you're willing to put some time in, you go on the website, you start looking around for any kind of websites. Google it if you have to. Steve, my shop does not do online sales. If you want the same cigars that are available at my shop for most part, you can go to jrcigars.com. There will actually be some cigars that are not available at my shop on that website. And there will be some cigars that I have at my shop that are not going to be available at that website. Partly because they are either discontinued and still sitting at the shop, or they are out of stock online, but we actually got them before they ran out of stock online. But yeah, there's quite often where people come in asking for Cuban cigars, and I just kind of have to chuckle and say, yeah, it's not going to happen today. But I don't hide it from them. Oh, you want something from Cuba? Sorry, no. Best I could tell you is go to the airport and jump on a plane. You're allowed to bring 100 back to America. Go nuts. And then normally I'm like, if you do that, let me know. I'll get you some cash. You can buy me one while you're there. I'm not buying one in America. No, I'm just handing some money to a person that's going to Cuba. They're buying it. They're bringing it back to me. It's just like as if my money went to Cuba all by itself. Really? You can only bring 25 into the UK. Well. And we've got an embargo. You can bring them back. You just can't sell them. I mean, realistically, if 2 people are going, you can bring 200 back. 100 in each suitcase. Woohoo! I mean, if customs stops you, you might have to declare them, and you might be standing around for a little while they determine that it's okay to have them. But I know a few customs agents that are like, yeah, we see 2 boxes and we're like, yeah, there's not enough cigars in there to even count. Go on through. Ron, I completely understand the dilemma there. That they almost never run free shipping unless you're going to spend crazy amounts of money. And that's what I tell the people that are like, oh, well, I can get it cheaper if I go to y'all's website. No, you can't. Because as soon as they say, yeah, okay, we'll send it to you, then they're going to charge you whatever state sales tax it is. And if there's a county sales tax, they do that too. And how do you think that they know that? Oh, well, all they got to do is you've entered your address because you want it shipped to you. Ding. Just like that. But smoking pipes did the same thing. I think it was smoking pipe. Pretty sure it was smoking pipes. Now, pretty much every place has gone to, oh, we've got to charge you the state sales tax anyways. Probably some federal mandate says they have to. James, yep, that's a very good website, and I've told some people about it. Pretty much, I mean, unless you've got a good Japanese connection, Monte Fortuna is probably going to be your best bet. I do have a Japanese connection, though, so. My friend, who I would say is the longest time friend of mine, he lives in Hawaii. His mom moved back to Japan. I have a very good connection in Japan. Welsh, I have noticed how big prices have taken a jump. I mean, some cigars have only gone up like 8 to 10 cents. Some cigars went up $3-4. And James, you're right. I am completely happy to say that I am a spoiled American. When it comes to tobacco, I am definitely happy to be a spoiled American. And James, you forgot Australia. God, Australia will rape you just to get a 10. I almost want to send a tin of Stonehaven to Glenn just so that he can turn it down. He might still have to pay the taxes on it. That would be like a kick of the teeth, wouldn't it? No, I won't do that to him, but there it is. New York and California are pretty bad about their taxes too. One time I looked up every state's tobacco taxes. Some of them are pretty decent. They're like, oh, but we cap the tax at $5. So you buy a large quantity all at once. You pay your $5 and you're good. I don't mind being in Texas where it's a penny, which is pretty awesome when you buy a pound of tobacco and you only pay a penny in tax. Only 3 states are better than that is Florida, South Carolina, and Pennsylvania. They have a 0 tax on tobacco. That is very true, Patrick. Very true. New York City is extra high. So, on top of, then there's the city tax. James has a question. Is Black Irish Twist available in Europe right now? Right, Ron? Right. Oh, yeah. Well, believe me, Canada and England, those taxes are outrageous. The only thing I know, like I said, is that I am happy to be a spoiled American when it comes to taxes. Hey, there's problems with being in America too. Right now, people are getting back to being happy about gas prices, but they're still double what they were for during the president previous. Yeah, Rod. GQ doesn't ship to the U.S. It's like getting a Scudo in Europe when it says specifically on the tin, only available in the United States. Which then begs the question of, why does our favorite guy there in Canada love Escudo so much? Hey, James, believe me, I understand there too. Gas prices in other countries, what they pay for a liter, I pay for a gallon. One of the crazy ones is that people here in the United States will scream and yell, oh, free medical, free medical, free medical. What they don't see is all the taxes that go into paying for free medical. Free medical would be great right up until you have to pay for it. $8 a gallon on gas and $120 for a tin of tobacco. When the price of that McDonald's burger goes up to $15, that's when you know that free medical wasn't exactly free, was it? Somebody's always got to pay for it. Well, Welsh, they always are going to make money. But surprisingly, they don't actually make all that much money on gasoline or diesel. Where they make most of their money is grease. See all those wind turbines out there that are steadily being pushed by the wind making electricity? The grease that keeps those things from falling apart, that's Exxon's biggest seller. James, yeah, you're right. Of course, Here in America, we dump corn syrup into everything, and I do mean everything. People have no clue how much sugar they're actually consuming on a regular basis. And it's stuff you don't even taste. Spaghetti sauce. If you don't make your own spaghetti sauce or buy higher priced spaghetti sauce, guaranteed it's got corn syrup added right in. My wife and I went on the Sugar Busters diet for about 6 months. Well, she went strictly. I ate it when I was here. But first thing we learned was we had to look at all the labels. You're walking through the store picking up 1,800 different labels of spaghetti sauce so that you can find the one label that's in there that doesn't have corn syrup. With all the corn syrup they're adding in, you wonder why insulin's so high. Well, the FDA says they're allowed to put it in there, knowing full well that after years of this, you're going to be choking down insulin because your diabetes is going to be through the roof. Is what it is. And pasta sauce is just one item. You would not believe how many things that we found in our cabinet that were loaded up full of corn. Nine times out of 10, when they say grain-fed cattle, 50% of that grain was corn. It does to cattle exactly the same thing it does to Americans. Makes them fat. I've got a cat at the door. You coming? Come on. He's letting me know that it was his time to come out. He's got to go find some mice. He chases mice and rats. So speaking of audiobooks, when I was out there living on the road, I had a good CD player in my vehicle, and I had a whole bunch of CDs of Louis L'Amour books, and most of them were being read by Willie Nelson. And you would think, really? Just not sure that he could that he'll do a good job of it. He did an excellent job of it. Not a problem, Welsh. Great evening. You take care. Hopefully we'll see you soon. My nose is itching. Just tells me that the couple of dry days has got me an allergy problem going. So we're what? Just a few minutes away from Robert getting in. Is Robert coming on tonight? I guess he had family things going last week, so he wasn't on. I know, I was a little disappointed myself, but hey. If you gotta do things with the family, you do things with the family. Well, I must have started right exactly at 5 o'clock. I'm a little worn out. All right, Patrick, not a problem. I only planned to smoke a single cigar, but I knew it'd be a 2-hour cigar. Or close enough that I could say it's a 2-hour cigar. If I keep it burning for 5 more minutes, it will be a 2-hour cigar. Damn good burn time for a stick this small. Ah. Not a problem, James. Oh. Hey, I understand completely, brother. I remember just before my son went off to the Air Force, I was like, we're going to spend some time together. kind of cool you're able to hang out with your family and enjoy the older shows. And I agree with you there, Everett. If you don't have family, you don't have anything. You could have all the money in the world, still no family. You still got nothing. Steve, with this stick, it just seems to get better as it comes back to you. And I mean, you're trying like crazy to not burn the hell out of yourself, but you have to kind of make that decision. Do I keep smoking it, or do I put it out before it starts getting painful? MySmokingShop.co in the UK may ship to the United States. Well, that's good information there, Ron. So what y'all got going on for the rest of the weekend? Me, I'm hoping to catch Martin live on the Let Her Rip Friday show. It'll be just after I've gotten food in my stomach, so that'll be good. I won't get home from the north side to see anything else. Damn flies. Well, Patrick, I thought about it, but it's already so far down now where I would have to let it go out to even mess with it. Well, Everett, how good of a friend is she? None of us actually need to know that information. But sometimes those surprises can be pretty surprising. That's more or less how Holly and I got started. She went through a breakup with the guy she was seeing and was having a rough time of it. And I said, you know what? At the time I was in Memphis. I said, I'll just fly you out to Memphis and we'll hang out, and then I'll fly you back. Give you some time to just unwind from that. And then that fell through, so I had to switch it over to flying out to Louisville. I told her to come out as a friend. She said, she decided as soon as she saw me waiting at the bottom of the escalator for her that she was going to surprise me. Oh, I was surprised. I was definitely surprised. I thought we were just going to hang out as friends. I didn't know it was going to get serious. Okay, so that's my smoking shop .co.uk. Or is it my smoking shop co.uk? It's one of them or the other. Probably .co.uk. Yeah, YouTube doesn't like to have other websites advertised on YouTube. But if it's for the good of the YTPC, I'm good with saying about it. Well, it's official. It's a 2-hour smoke. This cigar sells so well at my shop, it's ridiculous. I wouldn't be surprised if some of y'all just magically end up with the gift of one coming into your mailbox. So that everybody can find out how good this cigar is. But it's such a limited supply, I'm just hoping I get enough money put together to do it. Which should happen this week because, well, I work some overtime. Okay, so it is mysmokingshop.co.uk. And thank you, Patrick Grant. I appreciate that, sir. Alright, so we're down to the last 5 minutes. I'm going to put this cigar down. I could smoke more, but it's starting to burn my lips. I like having lips. Well, Ron, Patrick has that little wrench there beside his name, so he and Boris and James could post those links. I don't have a bunch of mods, mostly because, well, this is kind of a really small little channel. I don't have a ton of viewership, except for April 1st. I got a lot of viewership April 1st. I think y'all just like seeing me in pain. But I'm okay with that. Gives me something to look forward to. Hot and spicy. Makes your whole head sweat. But Patrick and Boris and James almost always show up to the show, so, well, that's why they're mods. If someone starts posting stuff that needs to be erased because I'm using an app to go live, instead of switching over to YouTube so I can erase some bad words, I just have to be able to trust my mods. And that's the biggest thing if you're ever going to go live. Figure out who you might want for mods. Set that up ahead of time. And let them know how much you do appreciate them. Oh, Ron, I have more fun than everybody. I refuse to not have fun. Well, Patrick, part of me not getting trolls is that I troll them back. They don't want me to troll their channels, so they don't come here. Plus, I treat them like 5-year-olds. Spank their butts and send them to bed without food. If y'all think that that's mean or whatever, well, my son knew if he had ever thought of doing something like trolling, that I'd go straight to his room and we'd get it done, and then he could worry about how he was going to stand while he slept. Now he's a good, respectful man. I love him dearly. He treats people with the respect they're due. He's in the Air Force. So if I tried to go spank his butt now, I'd have problems. He'd probably be allowed to shoot me. No big deal, just saying. Well, the noisy bugs showed up. I should make them a moderator too, right? They're always here. Now we're just waiting on Robert. I'm not seeing him showing up yet. But if he doesn't get here quick, we'll go troll his channel until he does show up. Yeah. No. Well, I'm a little warm, kind of hungry. And if I stay on here for 3 hours like I did last week, Holly will probably kill me. So I'm going to go ahead and end it. Boris, I would let you block the bugs. I would. Yeah, their comments are really unnecessary. But as per always, I want y'all to remember, take care of yourselves and each other. Do the best you can with that. Don't go crazy, but, you know, show some love. Go to those channels that aren't exactly here all the time. And well, you know, as per always, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care. I hope to see y'all on Robert's channel here in a little bit. But if he's not on, and I want to stay breathing, I'm going to have to get out of here. Y'all take care. Good night, everybody. See you soon. Bye for now.